Pu'u Ma'eli'eli, sometimes called Kaneohe Pillbox or Digging Hill Trail, is an easy, lesser-known hike on the windward side of Oahu. Even though it is not as popular as some of the hikes near the area, such as the Crouching Lion Trail or the Lanikai Pillbox, the Pu'u Ma'eli'eli Trail takes hikers to a pillbox with expansive views of Kaneohe Bay and mountain ranges. This local gem is perfect for you if you're looking for a short hike that requires some effort but gives you gorgeous views. To get to the trailhead, we will be parking at the Ko'olau Shopping Center. From this parking lot, you'll be walking about 0.2 of a mile down the shoulder of the Kahekili Highway just to get to the trailhead. The good thing is that there is a guardrail to give you some protection, so you're not just walking down the side of the road. It is very important that you park in the shopping center and not in the neighborhood that is next to it, because there is a good chance that you could get towed if you park there. Another thing that is important to note is that even though this trail is legal to do, there is private property on both sides of it, so please do not go off trail. Almost as soon as you hit the dirt, the trail begins to climb. While it may not be as steep as the Crouching Lion Trail, which you can see by clicking in the upper corner, it is still going to be a bit of a workout. One challenge that we had while we were visiting is that this hill is covered in mud. Thankfully, we had this rope that we could use for a couple of portions of the climb, but it seems like the mud on this portion of the trail is a pretty common occurrence. I know that I always harp on good footwear choices, but there's not much that can give you traction in these situations. There are a couple of small forks along the trail, but as long as you're using an app like 𝐿Trails, you shouldn't have any trouble staying on the right path. Along the hike, one thing you need to watch out for is tree roots. There are certain parts of this trail that are absolutely covered with them, and it seems like they want nothing more than to trip you up. One of the things that we really loved about this trail is that even though you are not far from the highway, some of these sections really make you feel like you're lost in the rainforest. Just in case you were wondering if this trail is beginner friendly, we would definitely say that it is. It has an overall distance of 2.3 miles with an elevation gain of 652 feet. That may seem like a lot, but it is spread out over quite a long distance. Another cool thing about this trail is that it takes most hikers an average of 1 hour and 21 minutes to complete it. That means it won't take up your entire day. A little ways down the trail, not only are you going to have roots that you can trip over, but there's also going to be low-hanging trees that you can hit your head on, so watch out for those too. Even though this part of the trail is packed full of hazards both above and below you, the scenery here is surreal. And that is why it is so important, as we mentioned in other videos, that if you're going to hike here, please be sure to clean up after yourself and others if you find trash along the hike. This is nature at its best, and it's really important that we help preserve it for everyone's enjoyment. On this trail, not only do you get beautiful nature, but you get history and Hawaiian mythology as well. As I mentioned before, Pu'u Ma'eli'eli translates to digging hill. And that is because in Hawaiian mythology, it is said that companion gods Kane and Kanaloa once raced to the top of the hill here to dig into the slope with their hands to climb up. Speaking of climbing, things are going to get a little steep for a second, and our cousin Yui was thrilled about it. As you climb up, the roots might actually turn from foe to friend as they turn into little tiny stairs to help you climb the hills. Even though this hike is fairly short and does have a decent amount of shade, you really do need to make sure to bring plenty of water. And it's extra important if you're bringing your four-legged friends with you. They are allowed on the trail, but they do need to be on a leash, and please clean up after them. After another rope-assisted climb, we are almost to one of the things that this trail is famous for, and that is several World War II bunkers that you can explore. You definitely don't have to worry about not being able to find the bunkers, because the first thing that you'll come to is this massive sign that's full of information. This area might be quiet and mostly empty now, but at one point there were 4,500 military personnel here. The first bunker that you come to might not look like much because it's just this square hole in the ground. But once you get inside, it's actually pretty big. Sadly, the inside of all of the bunkers here are completely covered in graffiti. On one side, it adds a lot of color and interesting things to look at, but it is defacing a piece of history, so if you decide to come, please do not add to the graffiti. After leaving the first bunker, you are just a short walk over from the second and third bunker. These two are probably going to be quite a bit more popular because not only are they bigger in size, but they also have a pretty amazing view. Unfortunately for this video, we were visiting during a particularly rainy period, so the view you see here is not exactly up to par with what you would usually get here. From up here, you should be able to get great views of Pokole Point off to the left and Hei'a State Park off to the right. And of course, let's not forget about the picturesque turquoise waters straight out in front of you. This hike really does have a little something for everyone. If you like hiking in the rainforest, it's got you covered. You feel like beaches? We got that too. And the pillboxes will even appeal to people who like urban exploring. On the way back, be sure to watch your step because the opening for the first pillbox is directly in the middle of the trail, and if you're not paying attention where you're going, you could fall right in. I would also say not to ignore the ropes because they are much more useful on the way down. You may be happy to know that the vast majority of the cardio workout that you'll get from this trail is now behind you. There are still just a couple of uphill sections ahead of you, but the vast majority of it is going to be downhill. If this trail ignites your love for short hikes with big payoffs, you should also check out our video about Manoa Falls. You can see that one by clicking in the upper corner. Here we are arriving at that last uphill climb of this trail. It's not very strenuous, but it is going to elevate that heart rate one more time. We also noticed some tickle plants along the trail, which are really cool because the leaves close up if you touch them. You definitely don't want to let your guard down at the end of this trail because this is where it gets really tricky. That hill is so slippery and a couple of us ended up falling over on the way back down. Luckily, no one got hurt, and the only casualty was a clean pair of shorts. Overall, this is a very fun trail, and it is well worth a spot on your itinerary the next time you visit Oahu. I'm so glad that we did this one, and I would not hesitate to do it again if we visited during clearer conditions. And one thing is for sure, there is only one way to end a hike in Hawaii, and that is with a delicious shave ice. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because that really helps out the channel. If you have recommendations for future videos, let us know in the comments below. And for all the information about the Pu'u Ma'eli'eli Trail as well as other awesome Oahu adventures, head on over to 𝐿𝑖𝐍𝐼𝐒𝐿𝑇Hadventure.com.